Muslims today are looking for heroes. We have heroes that until yesterday, they were defending the rights of every Muslim, man, woman, and child, of every believer. They're defending the rights even of the unbelievers, defending the rights of Hazrati Insan. Ulu Hakan, Sultan Abdul Hamid II. He is such a hero. He is the most important hero in the last 100 years that we must remember. And the one Sultan that was standing for over 30 years, protecting not only the Muslims but the whole Ummah against this onslaught of Dajjal that was coming. Last ruling Khalifa, Sultan Abdul Hamid II, in Mekan, they deposed him. And with the fall of the Khilafat and the actual abolition of the Khilafat that we're seeing these days, commemorating some 100 years ago, the Muslims have fallen into a very deep sleep. They have been drugged. Not knowing their past, Shaitan can tell them what their past is and they'll believe. Not knowing why they're living for. The whole system is saying, live to have fun, live to have pleasure. Live and put your family first. Live and put your countries first. Live for freedom. And having no idea what the future is holding. And the Prophet ﷺ, he is the master of past, present and future, seen and unseen, and he has told his ummah exactly what is going to happen and how to watch out for it. We are in the days of remembering the urs of the Sultan, of our last Khalifa who ruled for 33 years in the worst of times, who stood up against the whole world, who stood up against the munafiqs inside the ranks for 33 years alone, defending the rights of every Muslim from east to west to north and south. We are remembering the urs of a Khalifa that just his spirit is worth 2 billion. Sultan Abdul Hamid II became the Khalifa at the age of 34 years old. After his uncle Sultan Aziz Khan, Sultan Abdul Aziz Khan, he was assassinated by traitors. Everywhere inside and outside the empire was filled with those who were seeking to destroy the Khilafat, to destroy the Ummah, and to destroy Islam. But Sultan Abdul Hamid II, his concern was the whole nation of the Ummah. There were those who were sitting next to him, and they were pretending to be his advisors, but they were against him, and they were plotting against him. But he had the intelligence of a believer, and he was looking with the nur of Allah, and he saw through their plots, and he preserved and he protected the office of the Khilafat. And he worked to wake up the spirit of Islam again. He was sending aid and help to the Muslims in Africa, in India, in Indonesia, everywhere to wake them up and bring the body of the Muslims together. He even started to spread Islam into Japan. Our Grand Sheikh Sultan al-Awliya, Shaykh Maulana Muhammad Nazim al-Haqqani, is speaking about the shan of Sultan Abdul Hamid II. He is saying, Sultan al-Awliya, Sultan Abdul Hamid, one of the last Khalifas of the Ottoman Empire, the last ruling Khalifa of the Ottoman Empire, held the whole empire by himself, one person. The khutbahs were given in his name throughout the whole Muslim world. He kept the trust, the imanat of the Prophet ﷺ. He also worked with his hands. Yes, he sold his work and he ate from its earnings. He found time for that amidst the work of a huge empire. He never sat upon his throne for judgment until he had made the Naqshbandi Wirid, recited from the Quran, recited from Dalailul Khairat, prayed Ishraq, and he prayed Duha. Then he would come. He was such a person. There were blessings. There was barakat during his rule, more mercy. For 33 years, he held the whole Ottoman Empire, that is the Islamic Empire, because he was the Khalifa, keeping the flag of the Prophet ﷺ. The aim of Sultan Abdul Hamid Han was to continue the mission of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, to spread the light of La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah into every household. And yes, he inspired fear in the enemies of Islam with his haybat. In France, they wrote a play to insult the Holy Prophet ﷺ. When this was informed to Sultan Abdul Hamid Han, he told the French, if you put on this play, I will declare war on you from the seat of the Khilafat on behalf of the entire Alam al-Islam. The Prime Minister of France himself stepped in and stopped the play from being performed. Today's Muslims cannot even stop a newspaper from printing a cartoon humiliating our Prophet. Sultan Abdul Hamid Han, Jannat Mekan, he built the Hijazi Railway to connect the whole Muslim world to Mecca and Medina. He reduced the debts of the empire by more than 90%. He kept Quds Sharif in the hands of the Muslims. He was the Khalifa in maybe the hardest times that the Ummah had ever seen. The Emperor Meiji sent a letter to Sultan Abdul Hamid Han saying, I'm asking you to send us scholars to teach us Islam, which can build a moral relationship between you and us. He was sending help to the Christians where their own kings and their own queens were forsaking them. Sheikh Maulana is telling us that the German king William II said, I've met many monarchs and rulers in my life, and I found them all to be my inferiors, beneath me, or at best my equals. But when I entered the presence of Abdul Hamid, I began to tremble. He was writing poems asking for help from Allah, saying, My Allah, I know you are the Aziz. There is no Aziz but you. You are the one, nothing else. My Allah, take my hand in these hard times. My Allah, be my helper in this dangerous hour. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He does not change the condition of a people until they change it themselves.